All right, welcome everyone again to Study Abroad for Art Majors. So today we'll be going over why you should consider going abroad to take your art classes, how you can find art classes that are going to work for you and keep you on track to graduate on time, some recommendations for where to go and where to be looking, and then what kinds of classes and what you need to do to get classes petitioned to count towards your major. So before we get started, this is just the top of everyone's minds, of course, is what does study abroad look like when there's a pandemic going on? So for this academic year, 2021 to 22, summer programs were canceled, but we now have students abroad right now this fall. We have over 200 students abroad in a variety of countries. So we're really excited about that. And then we have another about 200 students geared up and ready to leave this January to go to an even wider variety of countries as things are starting to open up a little bit more. Looking forward to summer of 2022 and onward for the next couple academic years, everything is scheduled to run as planned. Now, we know that the pandemic has thrown us plenty of curveballs, so we're going to keep you updated as things develop. So they're posted on the UCAP website, but then we're also going to email you as soon as you've started an application, you'll start receiving updates for anything that changes related to your program or your country. There is a health and safety team of experts that monitors all of our locations 24/7, and they do health assessments. And if we determine that a location is not safe for our students to be at, or it's just not practical, say the borders are closing or quarantines, we will close the program. Typically, we decide if a program will run about 3 months in advance. That being said, things can change all the time, but we'll keep you updated. So is it worth applying? Absolutely. Applications are about a year to 9 months in advance, so a lot can change within that time. So I always recommend apply, get your foot in the door so that you have that possibility to go. There is no application fee to apply. And you can withdraw your application if you're no longer comfortable with it or if it no longer works for you. And you can withdraw several months after you're accepted. There'll be a special withdrawal deadline for each program. So you can withdraw with no penalties, no consequences, no fees, no problem. If your program is canceled due to COVID or another big situation like that, your UCAP fees would be fully refunded. So there really is nothing to lose and really only the world to gain. All right, so why study art abroad? So as you've seen in the little video, when you go abroad on UCAP, you can take classes that are UC credit, so those can fulfill major, minor, GE requirements, language requirements, internship credits, and they can help you stay on track to graduate on time. Your financial aid is also going to go abroad with you, and there are also additional scholarships that you can use to go study abroad. Here are a couple photos of students at the College of Art located at the University of Edinburgh, which is somewhere you can go. When you go abroad, you're going to have access to classes that we do not have here at UCSB. You're going to have new instructors with different perspectives, with different trainings. And you're going to be in classes with students from around the world and different trainings and perspectives of their own. You'll be working on various portfolio projects. You'll have opportunities to work on internships or apprenticeships if you would like to. You're going to be able to build connections and networks that are international, that can last a lifetime and help you really get your head start when you finish college. If any of you are interested in perfecting a language or learning a new language, this is definitely a great opportunity to do so. I know I studied Spanish for 3 years in high school and I could ace my exams, but I really could not speak. But after college, I moved to Spain, and within about 4 months, I was speaking very, very easily. And last but certainly not least is the personal growth that comes from studying abroad, the independence, the self-confidence, problem solving, communication skills, ability. Those are just some of the benefits you're going to get from stepping outside of your comfort zone and adapting. And that can sound very scary, but the wonderful thing about EAP is that you have the EAP office here on campus, but also there's staff abroad to help you. So you have someone to go to through the whole process of choosing a program, applying, getting ready to go, and while you're abroad, you have help the entire time. All right, so how do we get those major credits? So first, I just want to say that you don't have to go abroad for your major. You don't have to take classes for a major credit, but that's what this session's all about. So that's what we'll be talking about. So whatever classes you take abroad, all of those classes and units automatically appear on your UCSB transcript. And we'll just have a little note next to them that says EAP. Then if you would like those particular classes and credit to be applied towards your major, you'll need to get them approved by your major advisor. So it is up to them whether a class will be counted or not. Most of the time for major credit, it needs to be an upper division class and you need to take it for a letter grade. And we recommend that you communicate with your major advisor before you go abroad, discuss the classes that are offered on your program, talk about the course descriptions you're interested in. If you have a syllabus, talk about those. And then when you register for classes, you want to check in again because of course, plans are wonderful and we want you to plan ahead, but when it's actually time for course registration, there might be scheduling conflicts or one particular class may not end up being offered. So you want to be having an open communication with your major advisors and be choosing a program where there's a variety of classes to choose from. So you have that flexibility if there is a schedule conflict or if a class is full or not being offered. And then while you're abroad, you want to make sure that you keep any of your coursework, any artwork that you produce, the syllabus, absolutely. And when you come back, you want to be able to show all of that to your major advisor if they need it to petition for that course to be counted towards major credit. So with that, I wanted to ask Amy and Jillian, is there any advice you want to give to students about the petition process or how to get major credit?
Yes, so the art department is very cool and flexible in the way where we pretty much accept all upper division studio classes that you take abroad, just because we want to encourage students to take classes to explore mediums, to explore different art practices that we cannot necessarily offer here due to limited resources or impacted classes or whatever it may be. So whatever you want to take abroad, if it has anything to do with art, if it's glass blowing, if it's beading, if it's like really cool studio practices that you don't see here, I typically approve all of them. When it comes to writing, that will need to be approved by some faculty. So I do need to get the syllabus for writing courses if you want those to be approved for area C of the major, which is the writing/theory requirement for the upper division major. Art history classes, pretty much all of those count. If you take an art history class abroad, that will definitely count for area B of the major for the art history requirement. And studio classes are super flexible. I highly encourage students to go abroad and take art classes abroad because it can be really difficult to get into our art classes here because it's impacted, and then maybe we're not offering something that you want to explore more and learn about. So yeah, and I typically have students, like, they're really good with scheduling meetings with me and going over the classes that they're going to take. So before you go abroad, as Adrian said, let me and or Jillian know, so that we can have you on our radar and like make sure that you're getting credit for the classes that you are taking abroad. But yeah, totally, please go for it. And yes, make sure that the classes are upper division. as Jillian and Adrian said, because those are easier to petition. And I do recommend taking all of your core lower division classes here on campus first. And then it also helps you get that residency requirement out of the way. And I guess my last thing would be to, if you do plan on studying abroad, that is a conversation that we're gonna have to have and probably have a meeting about, just because of residency unit requirements, and you have to make sure that all of your progress is in check and everything. But otherwise, please go abroad and have so much fun and make so much art. It's totally worth it, especially when you have the assistance of the school helping you to get there. But yes, and I want to stick around too for any questions that y'all might have as well at the end. But yeah, I think that's all I have for now. But Adrian, let me know if I should expand on anything.
That's wonderful, Amy. Thank you so much. And thank you for offering to stick around for questions. I would love that, to do a Q&A at the end. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for being flexible with the art classes. And that was very clear about what kinds of classes they can take and that kind of process. Fantastic. Awesome. So yes, students, if you could save your questions, we'll definitely do a Q&A at the end with Amy and Jillian. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple more resources, and then I'll highlight just a couple programs just to give you an idea of what's out there. So this is our website, eap.ucsb.edu. There are two websites just to make everyone's life a little bit more confusing, which I know is what you wanted, which is why you're here today. But I'm going to hopefully try and make them as clear as possible how different they are. So this one is UCSB. This is ours. So this is specific for UCSB majors. This is where you'll find the application deadlines for UCSB students. This is where you'll find the EAP advisors like myself that were here for you. But most importantly, this is where we have the academics specific to you and your major. So as you can see here, you can click on your major, you can click on art, and then we're going to give you general information that Amy and the art department have supplied in the years past about recommendations for types of coursework that she mentioned and recommends. So from that site, we got some recommendations here for you. So feel free to take a picture of this screen if you would like, but again, it's on our website under academics, and you can just search, you'll see art major, and we have a whole page just for you. So there's a couple different types. You can take classes taught in English, and this is just a sample of opportunities. You can go to Australia, Cyprus, which is an island in the Mediterranean, Hong Kong, New Zealand, Scotland, South Africa, and the United Kingdom. And yes, I know that Scotland is part of the United Kingdom. This is a screenshot from our website, which we're currently updating. So Scotland links to the Scotland site. The United Kingdom actually links to England right now. But yes, they are both technically UK. And then if any of you are learning a language, 1 to 2 years under your belt is all you need to go study abroad and take classes taught in a foreign language. You can go to Brazil, Chile, France, Italy, Mexico, or Spain. And below are just a couple examples. So there's drawing, painting, photography, and sculpture in France, video and photo media in Australia, printmaking in Spain, and there's mixed media in Hong Kong. Again, just a sampling, not a limitation at all. So I'm going to highlight just a couple of programs here for you. So one of them is the Scottish University of Edinburgh, because they have a specific college of art that you have access to. And this was the one that we had a couple of photos of earlier of students studying at. Here, this is an immersion program. So that means you're going to be right alongside local students, kind of like you are here at UCSB. So you'll be taking classes with local students, living with local students in the housing. You'll have access to clubs and organizations. You are a Edinburgh student for that term. You can go abroad for a fall semester, a spring semester, which is a combination of winter and spring quarters here, or for the full year. You need a 3.0 cumulative GPA, and this is open to juniors and seniors. So if you're a sophomore right now, you could apply now to study abroad your junior year at the University of Edinburgh. So here are some of the topics they offer: painting, photography, intermedia, sculpture, fashion, jewelry, silversmithing, film and TV design, product design, textiles, animation, illustration, graphic design, and interior design. And you're not limited to just art classes. So you're welcome to take any subject at the University of Edinburgh. So let's say you need to do one of your GEs, or you have a minor in a different subject. This is very open and very flexible. University of Edinburgh is also excellent for helping students find internships and research opportunities, which could also mean an independent project or working as, say, an apprentice or part of another art studio. That could also be possible through Edinburgh, and you might be able to get academic credit for those opportunities as well. Here's another recommendation, is the University of Bologna in Italy. Similar to Edinburgh, they also have the Accademia Belle Arte, which you can participate in. So here is a video from one of our returnees about her experience taking art in Bologna.
Hi, my name is Jessica Chan. I'm a senior here at UCSB. I went abroad to Florence and Bologna, Italy for a year. I'm an art major here at UCSB. I'm part of the College of Creative Studies, and part of that program allows you to sort of pick your own curriculum and your own academic path. So I had a lot of freedom when I went abroad to choose what courses I was taking. But even if you're just an art student, letters and sciences, Bologna has the Accademia di Belle Arti, or like the Art Academy, and that is where you're going to take a lot of studio classes if you're interested. I chose the program in Bologna as opposed to one in like Leeds in the UK or Spain, because I wanted one to learn a different language, but also I'm really interested in printmaking, and that is something that originated in Italy. So the Accademia actually has a lot of courses that are not offered here at UCSB, and they delve into more traditional forms of art making. So that is why I chose it. So I was really interested in just sort of taking advantage of opportunities abroad that weren't available here. I took a little bit of printmaking here and papermaking and artist book classes here at UCSB, and when I went abroad I ended up taking lithography, screen printing, as well as engraving, and we don't have any of that here, so that was really interesting. All the professors are very knowledgeable. There's facilities for all these techniques that we don't have here. So taking classes at the University of Bologna, the class system, the university system is completely different from here. Most of your classes will be in Italian, but don't be scared, it's not as bad as it sounds. You do have 3 or 4 weeks in the beginning of each semester to sort of shop around at what classes you want to take, so you can visit classes, see how much you understand, if the professors are more lenient towards international students. So don't worry about the language thing. And then in terms of exams, the class format goes as you go to class. Not as much as here, but attendance is very recommended if you're trying to get a grasp on the language. And there are reading assignments, but they're not mandatory. And then after your course is over, you're allowed 1 month of studying before you take your exam. And exams are oral. They last anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes depending on your professor. You just go in, your professor asks you a couple main questions about the course, and will go in depth the more you answer. And the great thing about it is that if you don't do well on your exam, or you don't receive a grade that you like, you don't have to accept it, and you can go back and retake it on the next cycle of courses. So that's pretty cool. And the way that you do courses is you talk to the program director on site, which is a really great bonus in Bologna, and you can read student reviews on students who have taken the course before, so you're not going in totally blind. And you create a piano di studi, which is online, sort of like Gold, but for Bologna. And then you bring that to the study center. So it's all pretty easy. In terms of having things count for your major, you just need to keep all your documents from your class, keep your syllabus, keep your papers that you write, and bring it back and go through a petition system. I had all my courses count for my major, so that went really well. Prior to going abroad, I was not really sure what I really wanted to do after graduation, what to do with my art degree. After going abroad, like, my horizons have just expanded even more than just being here at UCSB. Being exposed to so many different techniques, as well as talking to different professionals. I interned with 2 different working artists within the city who work in the field that I'm interested in book arts. And it was really just eye-opening getting their perspective on the field, the commercial field as well as the fine arts field. And that's an opportunity I wouldn't have had in the same capacity here at UCSB. It was very helpful just talking to them about my thoughts for the future, as well as my concerns. And after being abroad, I actually reconsidered being a fine artist. That's not really something I'm interested in anymore, but being abroad just really shows you all the options that are out there. The more you experience, the more that you see, the more open, like, your future can become. And so now, I'm still not exactly sure what I want to do, but I know what I don't want to do anymore, and I'm really excited to see about working abroad, interning in museums abroad, traveling, and just, like, soaking up the world before sort of settling down in a career. So that's what going abroad has sort of changed for me.
There we go. So Jessica went on the University of Bologna, Italy program. If you're interested in taking fine art there, you can do it in the spring semester. Again, that's like winter and spring quarters combined, or for the full year. Also open to juniors and seniors. She mentioned taking classes in the foreign language. You only need 1 year of Italian under your belt before you get on that airplane. So that means if you're in Italian like 1 right. Oh, actually it's spring semester. So you don't even have to have taken any Italian at this point. You have time to get started, take 3 quarters or a year's equivalent, whatever it may be, of Italian just by time the program starts. So you can have that Italian like in progress after you've applied. That's perfectly fine. So she mentioned a whole bunch of unique classes that she took, but there's also digital photography, engraving, drawing, decorative design, computer graphics, fashion design, sculpture, installation art, and mosaics. I believe their mosaic class is also open to students just taking classes in English, and it's a very popular course. Bologna also offers other courses taught in English. It is a little bit more restrained just for those in English. If you've learned more than, say, 2 years of Italian by the time you go abroad, then you can take any course you'd like taught in Italian. Bologna also has internship, research, independent projects are possible. Just like Jessica mentioned, she interned with 2 organizations. And lastly, I'm just going to mention Sotheby's Institute of Art. So studio art classes are not offered through them, but I like to mention this because they are phenomenal and a world leader in art business and in museum curating. So these are areas and fields that we don't really offer, and it's very hard to find classes in the business of art. So this is something that could really supplement your education and give you kind of a head start on what it looks like out in the art business world. And I really recommend checking it out. We're going to have a specific info session with representatives from Sotheby's on Friday the 22nd at noon. So you can find the link on our website on our events page. So come check that out if you're curious about Sotheby's and want to learn a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple more resources. So I just highlighted 3 programs, but let's say you want to look for other things and you have specific interests and things that you want to explore. This is how we can help you find them. So back on our website, we already looked at the major page and those recommendations. So down below, I've circled here, it's called Gaucho Credit Abroad. And what this is that this is a database where you're going to see where all UCSB majors have studied in the past and where they fulfilled major requirements. And you can also search for GE requirements in this database as well. So I searched studio art major. I left it open to the world, open by subject area. So you can see it says UCAP subjects, some are studio, some are history for your requirements. And it came up with 76 different results. So again, this is purely historical based, but this is kind of a good signpost way for you to see what kind of classes are offered, what they counted as back here for your major requirements, and where they were. So you can start seeing like, okay, it looks like Australia has some cool options. I'm gonna look more at Australia. So this is a really good place to start. But you are not limited to that list because again, it's purely historical and it's just UCSB students. So let's say I want to see where anyone has taken studio art classes, or if you want to search for a particular keyword. So if you want to look for printmaking, if you want to look for glass blowing, you know, those very specific things, this is how you do it. So now we're transferring over to that other website I mentioned. This is the UC EAP website. So this is shared with all of the UC campuses. This is where the international program details live. So this is where we're going to search across all UC campuses, all international program information. And we're going to take a look right now on the menu on their UCAP course catalog. So you can see it looks very similar to the Gaucho Credit Abroad, but there are way more results, 166 courses, because these are courses that any UC student has taken in studio art. Well, that's specifically what I searched for here. So here you can see the course number. And again, these are not UCSB course numbers. These are unique EAP numbers. But you can tell what's upper division because it'll be above 100. So that can be really helpful when you're looking at these course numbers. The title here is linked, so you can see a short course description and you can discuss those with your major advisors. And then it's also, P means partner. So say you're hunting around University of Auckland's website and you cannot find this course. Where is it? Are they offering it the term that I need it? This is going to tell you what department it's in, what the partner title is, and how to look it up in their course catalog. So this is really helpful when you're kind of searching through the weeds of, is this course offered the term that I want to go? This can be really helpful there. And again, I like this search catalog better because you can search by keyword, and that is so helpful. All right, one more way to do some searches. So those two past ones, those were historical. Those are not current offerings. So let's say, okay, I want a fresh start. I want to see where is offering art classes now. So you can either search, let's say, oh, Bologna sounded pretty cool. You could type in Bologna here and get right to it, or we can keep it open-ended and find a program, which is what we'll do here. So find a program leads you to this awesome program filter. So you can narrow it down yourself to region, various countries. This search that I've done, I narrowed it down to the arts. And then after I clicked that, it opened up subject areas for me and I clicked art studio. And it came up with 27 programs. So these are specific locations or specific universities where you can go and take studio art classes. So when you're looking at these little tiles, it'll give you just a snippet of what's involved, and then you click into it for more information. It'll tell you where it is, what class standing you need to have by time you go abroad. So like this one's open to sophomores. So if you're a freshman right now, you can apply to go abroad on a sophomore program as soon as this summer, because you'll have sophomore standing by then. If it's an immersion with local students, it'll tell you the GPA you need in order to go, what terms it's offered, and what languages it's taught in. So let's click into one of these. And this is where you're going to find the gold in terms of coursework. So this one is example, this is Lund University in Sweden. all of the good program details, everything you want to know, including the cost. Very important to check out the cost. But today we're looking at academics. So you click on academics, and the very first one is going to be the actual course catalog. So this is the most up-to-date, most inclusive, most recent list of all the classes offered. So this is the one that you want to use when you're actually choosing your program and when you're actually choosing courses that you want to discuss with your major advisor. And I really recommend discussing more classes than you plan to take, just so you have more options in case there's a scheduling conflict or a class isn't being offered, and choosing your program based on the courses that are offered, along with things like cost, very important, and your eligibility requirements and any other details like specific housing you might want, or if there's an internship available. All things to kind of think about when you're choosing a program. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up, and then we have plenty of time for Q&A, but this is how you contact the EAP office. We are ridiculously friendly. We love answering questions, so there is no such thing as a dumb question. You are never bothering us. So please, please, please contact us. If you're like, hey, I saw that there was this search engine where I could search by keyword and I don't remember what it was, or do I need a passport? What is a passport? We are here for all those questions. So here's our website where you can speak with a peer advisor for general information and finding those resources, or to get connected with an advisor who specializes in a certain country that you're interested in. And you can make an appointment with those specific advisors. You can also email us. We are very active on Instagram, so we'll be posting all of our info sessions, scholarship deadlines, application deadlines. We do Instagram takeovers and testimonials from students. We also do fun things like cooking classes and things like that on Instagram. Our YouTube is also super active and just packed with content from students. So if you want to hear from a student experience who studied abroad, you can search by major, you can search by country in our YouTube, and see a lot there. So with that, oh, a couple more tips for you, sorry. Now is the time to start planning. Applications to study abroad this summer or anytime next academic year are now open. And deadlines for summer, fall, and year programs are going to start happening now through, I'd say, winter quarter. And then if you'd like to study abroad next year in winter or spring, those deadlines are going to be due this coming spring, so about a year in advance. And it takes time to do the research. Really choosing a program is the hardest part. So we want to make sure that you have time to do that research and ask those questions. And we're here to help you with that. We have tons of virtual info meetings. We're going to have meetings by country, special topics like identities abroad, applying for scholarships, how does travel work in the COVID times. We have lots of good meetings for you for that. Talk to your advisors. If you don't have a passport, I really recommend going ahead and applying for one. They're valid for 10 years. But right now, because everyone's really excited to travel again, it's taking a long time to apply for a passport. And if you're applying to, say, study abroad in Spain or Italy, you need a passport when you apply to study abroad, which is sooner than you think. So everyone who's even thinking about studying abroad in the future, apply now for a passport so that you don't miss out. And with that, I'll leave you with a couple lovely photos from our recent returnees. This could be your new home. This could be your classroom and your art studio. So I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to stop the recording, and then we can do some Q&A.
I have a question, Adrian.
Yes.
For students that want to study abroad, but that don't have documents, like maybe they have DACA or something, are they still able to like go abroad or internationally?
Yeah, so sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. I don't
Okay.
know what's happening with my screen, so I'm clicking wildly. Okay, it went backwards. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm out. Where do I find it? Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes.
You can still see my screen.
Well, we see the tiles of everyone, not the screen anymore.
Oh, you don't see the screen I'm in. Oh, great.
Mm.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
That's good. I just lost you and my Zoom controls. Okay, well, I can still talk to you.
Windows
Even
open.
so strange. I don't know what's happening, but I can still talk to you and give you advice and answer Q&As until my computer catches up. So for students who are undocumented DACA students, you really want to talk with the Undocumented Students Center about current policies and legislations. As DACA, you can certainly apply. That doesn't disqualify you, but there are definitely some concerns like re-entering the US after going abroad. So that's where you want to get the legal advice from the DACA Student Center. In the past, there was something called advanced parole that you needed to apply for in order to re-enter the US after you leave. And that was really important, but it took a very long time. That was suspended under Trump, and I'm not sure what the current status is. So potentially, yes, you could go abroad, but you need to check with undocumented students. If you determine, or if it's determined that it's not the best option for you right now, I would really recommend checking out the Capital Internships Program. So that's UCDC and UC Sacramento. So those are UCDC specifically, it's open to all majors and you can do internships in any field. So I highly recommend checking that out too.
Thank you. That was a really great answer.
Any other questions for me or for Amy or Jillian? If anyone's writing anything in the chat, my computer is still freaking out and I can't see it. So, sorry guys.
There was a question before in the chat. Amit was asking, does 1 year equate to 3/4 or 4 in regards to, I think, like if you had needed to take the language before like going to Italy or something.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, so in terms of like a language prerequisite, okay, I think, nope, okay, I thought I fixed my computer, guess not. It is either, oh, it's raining. Oh, that's weird, sorry. For language, it can be 3/4 or 2 semesters or whatever that equivalency might be. So we really take anything, if it's on a transcript, we can see 3/4 or 2 semesters. Or if it's something like maybe you're a heritage speaker, or maybe you took AP classes in high school and you kind of still have it. You can also take a language placement test. So you don't necessarily have to take the courses, but we just need to get you kind of placed and assessed at that language level.
Amit said thank you.
Any other questions?
Does anyone have any ideas of where you want to go abroad? Well, I'll be here when you come up with the ideas. We'll be here for it.
Exactly. Yeah. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm so happy to help with anything that you're looking for. any hurdles you guys need to overcome, any support you need, scholarships, just let me know. I'm so happy to help with anything that you might need. So thank you so much for being here, all of you guys, and Amy and Jillian. I so appreciate it. And if any of your students come to you with questions that I can help you with, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Thank you so much.
All right, have a great week, you guys. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.